welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for dropping by. My name is Liz, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about waking up refreshed in the morning. And I wanted to give you some tips too as to some good things to actually do to ensure that you're waking up nice and refreshed. I wake up quite early when I go to work. I get up at about 4:30 in the morning, so sometimes it's a bit of a struggle to get out of bed, but if I follow these tips, and I have done this for many years, I find that I actually wake up really refreshed. If you see my previous video, it talked about how to get a good quality sleep and what some of the problems are when you don't get a good sleep, especially when we turn 50. You know, our hormones change, and that really impacts on our sleep quality. But if you follow that video and the tips there about how you actually get a good sleep, then this is just progressing on from that. So stick around and come back after the short intro. So my biggest thing, I suppose, is in the mornings is obviously when you don't have, or when you feel that you don't have that really good quality sleep, is how do you wake up refreshed? And it is possible. So I just wanted to give you some quick tips on how you can actually manage that. My first tip, I suppose, is, and it goes on with what I said in the last video, is wake up at the same time every morning. Be intentional for the morning, which also means mindful before you go to bed. So I actually think about the fact that, okay, if I'm going to work, I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm actually looking forward to that time, you know, because actually it's a wonderful time to get up. You know, it's at the moment here in Australia, it's dark, it's cooling down here in Queensland. And it's beautiful, you know, absolute beautiful time to wake up in the mornings. So I actually really look forward to getting up at that hour of the morning. So that's my first tip. You know, you've got to have it up here. You've got to sort of think about, okay, I'm getting up early. Look forward to it. You know, don't have those negative vibes that are sort of thinking, oh, I've got to get up in the morning. Yuck. No, think about it the opposite way and look forward to it, because there is so much to offer in the morning. The second thing is, and generally I actually don't need an alarm clock anymore. I put the alarm clock on, but I don't actually need it because my body has got used to that period where I'm usually awake just before the alarm goes off anyway. But there's a couple of things that you should consider when you're using an alarm, and that is, firstly, don't have a blaring alarm that goes da 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 da, those sort of things. You know, have something that is actually very subtle when it wakes you up, because what happens is that if you are jolted out of your sleep quite quickly, you actually makes you actually feel worse than if you're actually slowly waken up. So my tip is that you choose an alarm that is actually nice and gentle, either gentle music in the morning or a gentle sound in the morning. Those are a lot more preferable. One of the things I will put about alarm clock, especially, and this was really something that let me just move this. This is something that really is linked to actually having to sleep at night time, is move your alarm clock away from where you can actually see it. Move it to the other side of the room or something like that. It's okay for me. I actually wake up and I can't see my alarm clock or the clock at all. I would have to actually roll over and look to the other side of the room. Probably not so good for my husband because it's on his side of the room, but works for me. So that's one really good tip, is actually make sure that your alarm clock is away from you on the other side of the room. I use my phone, and my phone obviously is just down beside me, but if I wake up in the night and I'm sort of wondering what the time is or anything like that, and and I start thinking about, oh, have I slept enough, or have I not slept enough, and how many hours before I actually have to get up. It's more difficult to actually have to reach for your phone to look at that information than it is to actually look at the time, which is on the other side of the room. So keep that in mind. The third tip is ensure natural light shines in, or turn on the light straight away. Of course, at the moment it's dark, so I need to turn on the light. So I get up, I do a bit of a stretch, and then I go and I turn on my wardrobe light, because I get dressed in the wardrobe so that I don't actually disturb my husband. But I do that straight away. You know, it sort of just sets you and starts to keep you alert as soon as that light's gone on. So, you know, that's one of the things, turn on the light. The next thing that I do, and again, this links to my previous video in regards to better sleeping habits, is hydration. Once I've got dressed, I go straight to the kitchen, and the first thing I do is an iced glass of water, and I drink that, and I just, it's one of those things that I just really look forward to in the mornings. You know, the odd occasions that I haven't drunk water before I go to bed, I don't know about you, but I feel like my tongue is stuck to the roof of my mouth. That's how dehydrated I get quite quickly. So the first thing I do before I even brush my teeth is actually have that glass of water. And then I don't have anything for at least 20 minutes, so, which is a bit of a problem, especially if I'm going to work, then I'll actually have my breakfast at work. But if I am at home, then I'll wait 20 minutes and then I have my cup of coffee. So that's what we're having now, is I'm up to my cup of coffee. So again, the fifth tip that I would have for you is to have a morning routine. And it's just as important, like I said in my previous video, is that you have a nighttime routine. Well, the same thing goes. Have a morning routine. My routine is I wake up, I get out of bed, I do a stretch, I go to my walk-in, I turn the light on, I get dressed. I've already prepared my clothes the night before. I get dressed, I then walk out to the kitchen, and the first thing I do before I do anything else is grab my glass of ice cold water. From then on, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm going to work, I get ready, I get my meals that have already been prepped the day before, and I drive to work. If I'm at home, then after about 20 minutes I sit down and I have my cup of coffee and I have breakfast, and I might start journaling. So as I mentioned before, I like to bullet journal, but I start to plan out the day and schedule the day. So those are some of the 5 tips that I really recommend for you to try, so that you can actually wake up refreshed in the morning. Now you got your tips. It will be so easy for you to go and wake up in the morning so refreshed. No, it's not as easy as that. What you do need to do is, yes, if you follow those tips that I've just mentioned, then you will begin the process of being able to wake up refreshed. It's like anything, you actually have to do it consistently. You know, you can't sort of think, okay, gonna do those tips and yahoo, tomorrow morning I'm gonna be waking up refreshed. Your body needs time to actually, it's like an athlete. You know, an athlete trains every day. They put in the hard yards. They get a system in place on how they're going to achieve what they want to achieve. And it's like sleep. You're changing your whole body's pattern of what it's used to or not used to. So, you know, these tips are really good tips. If you look anywhere, if you do any research, you'll see that these are the top tips that you need to be doing. But you need to be doing these tips consistently. So it's not just I'll do it one night and hopefully I'll wake up refreshed. No, it takes time, it takes persistence, it takes a commitment to mindfully make a change. And that's like anything in life. You've got to actually, in your head, decide that you're going to make a change, and then you've got to start to act that out. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video today, and please click down below, give me a thumbs up, turn on the notifications, do all of that biz, because I'm going to be bringing you lots of videos and you don't want to miss them. So bye for now.